So we've promised alpha version every 2 months, and since 2 months are gone, we are here with new alpha version. What's in? The most important thing is the new quest, and when you play the quest you will immediately see that we've also done voiceovers. Currently they are just temporary, so they are made only by free actors and very quickly during the day, so it's not the final quality we would like to achieve, but I think they are pretty good already, and the quests play much better with the voiceovers than with just the text, as you will see probably.
Who is this Mariana anyway?
Surely you must know her. She has a tavern on the green. She boils nasty beer, cooks rotten meat, and what's more, she's a harlot who parades herself in front of men and does who knows what with them when decent folk are long gone to sleep.
Who did? Why would he?
Jerry, a farmer and a pig. His old woman probably doesn't want him anymore, and he thinks I'm loose enough to roll in the hay with him for a couple of groschen.
But you know what? I'll give him the keys if he comes to apologize in person.
Well, you really couldn't come up with anything tougher than that.
The voiceovers are just a side effect of our first experiments with cutscenes and lip sync and all those things that we need to do to have in final game. So we done them not only for the alpha version but also for the preparations of the future motion capturing of cutscenes and lip sync for the game.
Are you surprised? You've seen what Jerry looks like.
Anything anywhere? Did you eat anything anywhere else? Did you eat anything anywhere else?
So, how's it going? I heard Farmer Jerry is giving you some trouble.
We also started wondering about the way we are writing the game, because currently the game is quite raw, a lot of swearing and dirty language. So I was wondering if it's the direction we want to take. We want. I want, but it's quite unusual today, I would say. And so we were wondering how far can we go, and currently we decided that we will go as far as we like to. So you can expect pretty wild stuff, I guess. I think it's not just for the effect. It has its reasons. We try to be natural or come to as close to the real world as possible. So some characters are going to be pretty wicked. I hope you will like it, and I hope the game will not get banned anywhere more than necessary. The new quest is focused on lockpicking, which is a new minigame that you can try. So basically you need to help the bailiff of the village to find his keys or unlock his doors and trunk. So you will learn how to use lockpicks. You will have to use them. There are also several other solutions how to finish the quest, but you can try the new minigame and tell us, let us know what do you think about it. It still needs a little bit of tweaking, but it's something similar to maybe to the latest Thief game. Our goal was not to make it impossible, but to kind of prolong the way you are opening the doors. It's very flexible in terms of difficulty, so it can be very hard or very simple. And it was an interesting experience regarding our accuracy goal, because to make an accurate lockpicking minigame is almost impossible. When we've researched this topic, we realized that back then the lockpicking was quite simple. Usually they made some kind of master key, and then it could be used in most of the locks. So we had several master keys, and it was quite easy to unlock the locks. Locks were not that complicated, And it was quite hard to come up with a lockpicking minigame where you would have to use master key. So after a lot of thinking and some experiments, we decided that the minigame would be a little bit more abstract. So it really needs a skill, not just an item to use. And currently I'm quite happy about it. Some people think that they didn't have locks back then, which is a very common idea, and it's totally wrong. The keys and locks were quite common even in villages, and it wasn't only for the rich people. There are findings of locks and keys in by archaeologists in old villages, so it's something that would be quite you will see quite often in the game. Since we are talking about lockpicking, let me tell you about something more about thieves, stealth and doors in general in our game. So we will have several types of doors, we will have several types of locks, and several different types how to lock or unlock the door. There are the cheapest and simplest and at the same time hardest doors are those that are locked from the inside using a door latch. You can't unlock those from the outside. You need to destroy them. Then we have doors with locks. Interesting thing is that you don't need to unlock them from the inside, because you can kind of set the lock to off position just by hand. You don't need the keys because the mechanism of the lock is opened from the inside. And then we have different types of quality of doors. So if you will have steel doors in castles and stuff, which will be basically unbreakable. Or we'll have wooden doors that can be easily destroyed by a sword or an axe. The basic principle of stealth or lockpicking or being a thief is to be silent, to get inside very silently and quickly, not to be spotted by anyone. And there are several obstacles that in your way. The doors can produce sound. The floors in the houses can produce sounds, and there could be dogs or some other animals who will make noises when they will hear some alien. So you will have to be silent, you will have to kill or poison or make friends with the dogs, and then you should not wake up the people who are living inside, which is going to be very hard with the doors that are open from the inside. So you will have to break the doors, and it's kind of hard to break the doors without waking up the guys who are sleeping inside the house. So I believe it's going to be interesting. The being a thief is going to be very interesting and a little bit different than anywhere else. The quest itself has several options how to play it again, and it's quite compatible with the previous quest, which is still present in the game, as well as the smaller tasks like archery or finding the flute, I guess. There are also more options how what to buy in the shop, and basically as it gets a little bit bigger, you have much more options during the gameplay. You have more options how to make money and how to spend them. So I guess that you can spend quite a while in the alpha currently. The alchemy was tweaked a little bit. We've also added, it's an important new feature, but it's not visible too much in the alpha version. The NPCs finally have perception, so they should look at you or other NPCs when they are around. It's not used for stealth currently, but it's a first step for proper implementation of stealth. We've also tweaked cameras during dialogue, so most of the time the characters should look at you and the whole view should be much nicer. You will also notice probably that we've changed an UI for the dialogues and some parts of the menus, and also the map is fixed, so you will finally see flags on the places where you should go, where there are your objectives. So that was current alpha, and now let me tell you something about the upcoming one. We've decided that we will release it at E3 or sometimes around E3, most likely on E3. And since it's going to take a little bit more time than usual, it's almost 3 months, it's going to be big. It's going to be a large update which will include most of the game mechanics, like key features. It will have combat, it will have horse riding, it will have stealth, it will take place in a little bit bigger part of the world, so there's going to be another village, and of course there's going to be another big quest which will include combat, and most likely we will have also some cutscenes and new voiceovers. So I guess that it's worth the wait, and that is going to be something really big. We plan to be present at E3 currently, so it's going to be unveiled there, I hope. And then we'll have several other alphas. One will be released somewhere in summer, one in December most likely, and then beta will come. We decided that we will do it a similar way as Wasteland 2, so the beta will not be the whole game. It will be like first quarter of the game, from the start to like 20% of the gameplay, and it's going to be, or the plan is that it's going to be released as a Steam Early Access as well, so every beta backer will receive it as usual, and people will be able to buy it as at Steam Early Access as well. These are just plans currently, so some things may change, but this is something we would like to do. Now the not so good news, well, maybe even actually bad, and it's the release date. We originally said that the game is going to be released by the end of the year or at the first months of 2016. At the current state, we realized that we will need a little bit more time. So the current plan is to release the game a few months later, most likely in the middle of the year, sometime around the summer. The reasons are obvious. It's a lot of work. We have the biggest problems we right now have, or problems, things that are not going as fast as we expected, are mostly the quests. We plan to have about 100 quests. It's a lot more than we planned originally, and it will take a little bit more time. Also, we were slowed down by a lot of stuff that happened that we didn't plan over the last year. So all these things are the reason why the game is going to be released a couple months later. I'm really sorry for that, but I hope, and a lot of people said it, that it's better to release a good game that is as much complete and polished as possible. So and we would like to do this. So that's the main thing why we decided to release it later. If I had some ash here, I would pour it on my head, but I don't, so sorry, I apologize. I hope it will be worth it, and you will have the chance to try it soon, first at E3, and the beta should be a glimpse of what's to come as well. So I hope you will have something to play before we release the final thing. Another new thing we started are the storyboards. As we progressed with the main story writing, Martin, who is behind the camera right now, started to make storyboards for the main storyline. They look great. We have we already have a couple of like quite epic cutscenes, and I have to kind of control myself not to have too many of them, so we are able to make them. Even now, for the introduction of the story and the main characters, there are some moments where we were kind of not sure if we will be able to even do it, especially regarding the motion capturings of the horses, and a lot of horses with a lot of weird and complicated moves and situations. But they look great, and it goes much faster and smoother than I expected. We will finally have our own merchandise shop, so you'll be able to buy these in 2 colors, I guess. We are preparing some t-shirts with the motifs from the game or our artworks, and we also will have our own brand of beer. We haven't started a brewery ourselves. We have friends who are also planning to go to Kickstarter, and so we only needed to do those nice labels. I did this one. I always wanted to make my own beer label, so this is the result. The artwork is from our lead artist, and we will use it maybe even on the t-shirt. So we will have 4 different types of beer very soon. Good thing is that we will be present at Battle of Libushin, which is one of the biggest medieval battle reenactments in Europe, I would say, about 1,000 fighters. Maybe I will be present in a costume on a battlefield, not fighting, because they don't want to let me, and I don't want to. I don't want to get injured, and I never did proper fencing, so I would be an easy target for the guys. But I may be there in the middle of the crowds. I plan to take my action cam, so we may have some nice footage for the research of how it looks in the middle of the battle. And also there is going to be a World Championship in medieval fighting called Battle of the Nations in Prague in 1 or 2 months. We may be present there as well, and it's definitely going to be a very interesting event, even if we are not there, because it's really brutal sport that is played according to the medieval rules. So if you ever wanted to go to medieval tournament, as it was, that's your biggest chance to see it, to go one of the Battle of Nations tournaments. So that would be it. I'm sorry for the bad news. I hope you like the good news and you will enjoy the alpha. So stay tuned. Bye.